My name is Zachary Bennett. I'm 33 years old. I live in Dacono, Colorado, and I'm currently carrying a 4.0 GPA at Ames Community College. I run a nonprofit called the Omnism Spiritual Center. It's a registered 501(c), and I want to talk to you today about identity. Not the polished version you put on a resume, but the real one. The one you find when everything else gets stripped away. Cultural anthropology has a framework for this. It's breaking down identity into layers: class, ethnicity, kinship, roles, obligations, cosmetology. Every human being carries all of these at once. Most people never stop to examine them. I had no choice but to examine every single one of mine. My achieved status right now are these: student, author, content creator, nonprofit director, peer in the counterculture. None of those came from the family line or a clean start. Every one of them was built intentionally, one decision at a time. I still go to rainbow gatherings, and for anyone who doesn't know what a rainbow gathering is, it's a temporary community built entirely around the collective meditation and prayer towards world peace. No money changes hands. No authority structure runs it. People from every background, every belief system, and every walk of life show up in those woods, and they sit together with the intention of peace. And that is the oldest and most honest expression of what I'm building with Omnism. I've been part of the counterculture for years. I talk to people living on the streets. I sit with people who were present during the Summer of Love in 1967. And that is my real field research. That is where philosophy gets pressure tested against actual human beings. The teachers who shape my thinking most are Wayne Dyer, Ram Dass, and Alan Watts. And what those three have in common is this: they took the deepest truths from every tradition on earth and delivered them in plain language that anybody could absorb. There was no academic gatekeeping, no religious prerequisite, and just a direct transmission of something real. And I've always wanted to be a motivational coach until I realized I could do something larger by uniting that calling under the Omnism framework. It's not just motivation, it's unification. And it's not just inspiration, it's a practical path toward inner regulation and collective peace. That realization changed the entire trajectory of what I am building. My cultural identity is Omnism. It's not a new religion. It's a recognition of what has always been true, that every tradition that has ever existed on this earth is pointing at the same thing underneath. There is a ground state inside every human being that sits beneath the noise of thinking mind. Buddhism calls it original mind. The Tao that calls it the uncarved block. Jesus said the kingdom is within. The science of consciousness calls it coherent internal frequency. I call it stillness. And stillness is not a spiritual luxury. It's the most practical survival tool a human being can be developing. The vision I'm actively working on toward right now is a seed program at the Boulder County Library, a place where people dealing with homelessness and people coming out of prison can come and learn basic architecture of a life. They can build how a business works from nothing, how to get a credit card, and how to use it without destroying themselves. They can learn how mortgages work and how to repair a vehicle. The practical everyday knowledge that nobody hands you when the system is finished with you. But underneath all of that is a practical curriculum, is the deeper mission. Teaching people how to sit within, how to drop beneath the survival mode and find the ground state that was always there. Meditation and prayer towards world peace. And that is the actual engine running everything. Omnism makes that possible across every background under the First Amendment and the sincerely held belief. We can run programs that touch every tradition without excluding a single one. Every religion, every spiritual path, every person who has ever sat quietly and felt something larger than themselves is already inside this umbrella. And we're not asking anyone to change what they believe. We're simply asking that they find where all of those beliefs converge. The kinship structure I operate inside is built on a mission rather than blood. Anthropology calls that fictive kinship. And the people in this work, the people who show up at gatherings, the people I meet on the street, those are my people. That bond is real. Every culture on earth has recognized bonds like this as legitimate biological families. Now here's the piece that ties everything together. The mind is a broadcasting station. Whether you're running internally is the signal going out into the shared field around you. And that's not just poetry. That's a documented science. The Maharaji effect shows that when a significant number of people achieve internal coherence, measurable reductions in social conflict occur in the surrounding population. Ancient spiritual traditions have been describing the same mechanism for thousands of years in their own language. Prayer works. Meditation works. Not because of magic, because focused human consciousness is a real force that interacts with the shared environment we all live inside. And when you regulate your internal frequency, you change your broadcast. When enough people do that simultaneously, the collective signal shifts. And that is the mechanism for world peace as I understand it. It's not policy, it's not protest. It's one regulated nervous system at a time, building towards a critical mass. And my goal is to become a speaker who can carry that message to a global audience the same way Wayne Dyer and Ram Dass and Alan Watts did. Plain language, real presence, no performance. Just direct transmission of something that actually works. And right now I'm currently a man in Dacono, Colorado, sitting at a desk, going to class, writing books, talking to people on the street, attending gatherings, and building something from the ground up that is meant to outlast me. The monastery in Wyoming is the long vision. The library program is the seed. The books are the signal going out right now. The chandle is the conversation already in motion. Who am I? I'm a man in the middle building something real. And I'm talking to you from exactly that place. Not from the finished project, from the construction site. And that is Omnism. That is the work. And it starts right here in the middle of it.